Somewhere on a construction site tonight, a drum is tipped, a liquid is spreading, and no one knows yet. How that team responds in the next 10 minutes will determine whether it stays a near miss or becomes a regulatory shutdown, a cleanup bill, and a public incident report. In this training, you are going to learn exactly what to do and exactly what not to do when hazardous materials are stored, managed, and responded to on site.
Here is what we are going to cover. We start with why hazardous material failures happen, because understanding the cause is the first step to prevention. Then classification and labeling using the GHS system, compliant storage design, and spill prevention systems. The centerpiece of this training is the 6-step spill response protocol, a system that works on any site, any chemical, anytime. We also map everything to ISO 14001, IFC EHS, and GHS, the frameworks auditors check. And we close with the most common mistakes that get sites shut down and the exact fix for each one.
By the end of this training, you will be able to classify any hazardous material correctly using GHS and safety data sheets. You will be able to design and inspect a compliant on-site storage area. You will execute the 6-step spill response protocol without hesitation. You will identify the 5 most preventable spill causes on construction sites. And you will have the knowledge to pass a site environmental audit on hazardous materials compliance. These are not theoretical skills. These are practical, field-ready competencies that experienced environmental professionals use every single day.
Let me give you 3 numbers. 2 million. That is the number of liters of groundwater contaminated by a single 200-liter diesel spill. $500,000. That is the maximum regulatory fine for improper hazardous material storage, and in some jurisdictions, it goes higher. 78%. That is the proportion of site environmental violations that involve improper chemical storage or inadequate spill response. The IFC Environmental Health and Safety Guidelines require documented spill response plans on every financed project. ISO 14001, Clause 8.1 mandates operational controls for every hazardous substance on site. The question is not whether your site has hazardous materials. It does. The question is whether your team is ready.
The Global Harmonized System, GHS, is the international language for chemical classification. Every chemical on your site belongs to one of 9 classes. Classes 1 through 3 cover explosives, flammable gases, and flammable liquids. These require segregated, ventilated storage. Classes 4 through 6 include flammable solids, oxidizers, and toxic substances. Critical point: incompatible chemicals must be physically separated. Never store oxidizers near flammables. Classes 7 through 9 cover radioactive materials, corrosives, and miscellaneous hazardous substances. Specialist storage protocols apply. Every container must carry the correct GHS label, hazard pictogram, signal word, and supplier information. Every chemical must have a current safety data sheet on file. Section 6 of the SDS is your spill response guide. Know where it is before you need it. And under ISO 14001, every hazardous substance on site must appear in your Environmental Aspects Register.
A compliant hazardous material storage area has 6 non-negotiable design elements. First, bunding and secondary containment. Your bund must hold at least 110% of the volume of the largest single container. The liner must be impermeable. No cracks, no gaps, no drainage bypass. Second, ventilation. Natural ventilation works for many chemicals. For volatile or toxic substances, you need local exhaust ventilation. Third, segregation. Incompatible chemicals must be physically separated. Never store acids near bases. Never store oxidizers near flammables. Fourth, signage. Every storage area needs GHS labels, emergency contact numbers, no smoking signs, and fire point location. Fifth, access control. Locked when not in use, trained personnel only, with a register maintained. Sixth, a documented inspection regime. Weekly visual checks, monthly formal inspections, all findings recorded. If it is not documented, it did not happen.
The best spill response is the one you never need. Effective prevention starts with secondary containment. Drip trays must be positioned directly under every active transfer point, not stored nearby, but underneath. Drums must be stored upright, bungs sealed, and inspected weekly. During fuel transfers, a drip mat is mandatory, and refueling must never happen within 10 meters of any drainage. Concrete washout goes to a dedicated washout area only, never to the ground, never to a stormwater drain. During chemical work near drainage, covers must be placed over all drains, silt socks deployed, and bund gates kept closed. And your chemical inventory must be live, updated after every delivery and every use, managed on first-in, first-out rotation, with minimum quantities held on site. The simpler your chemical inventory, the lower your risk.
This is the 6-step spill response protocol. Step 1. Stop. Halt whatever operation caused the spill. Isolate the source immediately. If you cannot stop the source safely, do not approach it until you can. Step 2. Assess. Identify the chemical. Estimate the volume. Open the Safety Data Sheet, Section 6, before you take any further action. The chemical determines your response. Step 3. Contain. Deploy absorbent boom and spill pads around the perimeter. Your first priority is the nearest drain. Block it. Nothing leaves the spill zone. Step 4. Notify. Alert the site manager and the environmental team immediately. Record the exact time of discovery and containment. This timestamp is critical for your incident report. Step 5. Clean up. PPE on before you enter the spill zone. Collect all contaminated material. Bag it, label it, set it aside for hazardous waste disposal. Never sweep a chemical spill into a drain. Step 6. Report. Complete the incident report. Root cause analysis. Corrective actions. And if the spill meets the threshold under local regulations, notify the regulatory authority. Stop, assess, contain, notify, clean up, report. Learn this. Print it. Put it where your team can see it. Before you approach any spill, you need the right protection. Minimum PPE for any chemical spill. Chemical-resistant gloves, safety goggles, coveralls, and steel-toe boots. For unknown chemicals, unidentified containers, or large-volume spills, upgrade to full-face respirator and chemical splash suit. The donning sequence matters. Coveralls first, then boots, then gloves, then goggles, then respirator. In that order, every time. Section 8 of the Safety Data Sheet specifies the exact PPE required for that specific chemical. Check it before you respond. A decontamination station must be set up before any personnel enter the spill zone. And this is the point I want you to remember. You cannot help anyone if you are the second casualty. The spill can wait 30 seconds for you to put your gloves on. The consequences of not doing so cannot be undone.
Let us talk about what auditors will look for. Under ISO 14001, Clause 8.1, you need documented operational controls for every hazardous substance, a written spill response plan, inspection records, and evidence of training. IFC Environmental Health and Safety Guidelines require a full chemical hazard management system, SDS files on file, spill kit registers maintained and current. GHS and REACH require correct classification and labeling on every container. No unlabeled containers. No handwritten labels missing required elements. Under local regulations, which vary by jurisdiction, spills above a defined threshold require notification to the regulatory authority within a specified time frame. Know your local rules. And under LEAD and Envision, your pollution prevention plan must be written, implemented, and evidenced through site signage. The common thread across all frameworks? If you cannot produce the document, the evidence, or the record, the compliance did not happen. Here is what the best environmental teams do that average teams do not. They conduct monthly hazmat storage inspections, and they document every one with photographic evidence, not just a tick on a form. They run spill response drills every 6 months. They time the response, and they log every attendee. Their chemical inventory is a live document, updated after every delivery and every use. Their bunding areas are color-coded by chemical class, so any worker can see at a glance what goes where. Every new subcontractor gets a hazmat briefing on day 1, before they touch a single container. And their spill kits are pre-positioned within 10 meters of every storage area and transfer point, in an open rack, not locked in a cabinet on the other side of the site. These practices do not require a large budget. They require discipline, documentation, and leadership.
Let us go through the mistakes that appear on site environmental audits time after time. Mistake 1. Storing incompatible chemicals together. The fix: implement the GHS segregation matrix and post it at every chemical store entrance. Mistake 2. No bunding, or bunding that is too small. The fix: calculate the 110% rule and install or upgrade to compliant bunding. Mistake 3. Spill kits locked away or inaccessible. The fix: open rack spill stations within 10 meters of every transfer point. No locks, no keys, immediate access. Mistake 4. No safety data sheets for chemicals in use. The fix: build a complete digital and physical SDS library and review it quarterly. Mistake 5. Staff untrained on spill response. The fix: mandatory hazmat induction plus a timed drill every 6 months with logged attendance. Mistake 6. Spills not reported internally. The fix: build a no-blame reporting culture where every spill, however minor, is logged, analyzed, and actioned. Sites that hide spills have larger spills. Before you leave, here are the 6 things to take back to your site today. 1. Know your chemicals. Every substance on site must have a current GHS label and a safety data sheet on file. 2. Inspect your storage monthly. Bunding, segregation, signage, and access control, photograph everything. 3. Pre-position your spill kits within 10 meters of every chemical use and transfer point in an open rack immediately accessible. 4. Train your team. Every single person on site should be able to name step 1 of the spill response protocol. 5. Report every spill, no matter how small. Root cause it. Close out the corrective action. 6. Audit your system. ISO 14001 Clause 8.1 is your operational control framework. Use it as your standard, not as a box to tick. If you apply these 6 actions, your site will be ahead of the vast majority of construction projects operating right now.
That is video 05 of the Site Environmental Compliance Masterclass. If this training was useful, subscribe to EnviroVerge for a new environmental training video every week. Practical, field-based, and built for professionals like you. Drop a comment below and tell me, what is the biggest hazardous material challenge on your site right now? I read every comment. And if you want to continue building your compliance knowledge, the next video in this playlist covers environmental monitoring systems on site. I will see you there.